empowering you, especially as a woman. We're multifaceted. It's just not one thing. So we talked about breast cancer. We talked about domestic violence. We talked about getting your hair done, your style, your personal style. We talked about skincare. We talked about all that. And now we're kind of shifting towards you as a person and making yourself happy, pursuing your passions, living your dreams. We're going to talk some more about building a business. If you're someone who wants to start a business or you have a business and you want to build it and grow it, we're going to talk about starting a blog. We're going to talk about health and living a healthier lifestyle. We have all these great things. But right now, we are going to talk to the Adeea, right? That's right, the Adeea Rogers. And Adeea, if you aren't familiar with her, but you should be if you're not, is the trendy socialite. And she is also the founder of International Natural Hair Meetup Day, which is international. That's right, because it happens all over the world. One day out of the year, natural hair women get together, and men and kids and dogs, whoever. We get together. Mammals. We get together. If you buy a ticket, you can come. We get together on the same day all over the globe to be empowered about our hair. And so she also is transitioning into a new phase of her business, which is being a speaker, a coach, a consultant, and really sharing with people how they can pursue their passions and how they can brand themselves, and if they want to do events. So she has all these things that she is bringing to you guys, and she's just amazing. I'm so glad that she's my friend. And so without further ado, take it away, Adeea.
Oh, no pressure there. I am so honored and thrilled. I hope you can hear me. Okay, good. I'm honored and thrilled to be on this Hangout-a-thon. I have been watching since you have been on this morning, and it has been amazing. I have laughed, I have enjoyed, I've learned so much. And I feel like the conversation that we're about to have is just a continuation of what you have been talking about all day, because I find that some of the beauty related things and the natural hair related things, our relationships, sometimes all comes back to, and us being happy, like Janelle was just talking about, comes down to us knowing our purpose. And one of the reasons why I get asked this question a lot, because I talk about purpose, because I've been taught about purpose. But one of the things that I find is that sometimes our happiness lies in or rests in the fact that we really don't know what we're put on this earth to do. And we don't take the time, we don't take the initiative, we don't take that time for ourselves, like Janelle was talking about, to really figure out what it is that we are purposed to do, what it is that we are put on this earth to do. And I am not a wife, I am not a mother, but there is purpose beyond just being a wife and a mother. That is part of our purpose. As women, we are nurturers, we are caregivers, we are caretakers. That is what we do. But there is still purpose beyond that. And I feel like some women that I encounter that are discontent and disillusioned and just kind of not happy with themselves are that way because they don't really know and understand what their purpose is. And growing up, one of the greatest lessons that my mom taught me is about living purpose, and she modeled that for me every day of her life. She worked, she served in her community, she served in her church. She, at what a lot of people would consider a later stage in life, when she should be thinking about retirement, started a whole new venture by becoming a preacher and now pastor. And so I have learned so much about it's never too late, and then conversely, it's never too early to find out what your passion is and what your purpose is. And so that is really the crux of the message that I want to leave with the audience today, is that it is never ever too late. It is never ever too early to discover and to find out what it is that you are passionate about, and that you have the right to do so. Yes, you should take care of your responsibilities. Yes, you need to pay your bills, and you need to take care of your family and your loved ones, even your friends to a certain degree. But you also have to take care of yourself. And one of my favorite quotes of all times, I heard her speak years ago, and this quote never left me. It was from Susan L. Taylor, the former editor-in-chief of Essence magazine, and she says you have to give to yourself before you give yourself away. And that is a lot of what Janelle was just talking about, because we will give and give and give and pour into others and do for others to the neglect of ourselves. And ladies, there's a crisis in the community of Black women right now. We are at the highest risk for a lot of diseases. We're also growing increasingly, becoming victims, well, just taking our own lives. We are one of the silent growing communities of people that commit suicide. And part of that is because we don't take care of ourselves, but then also part of that is because we don't talk amongst ourselves. And there is the whole notion of being a strong Black woman. Part of being a strong Black woman, to me, to Adeea, is to be able to acknowledge where it is that you're weak and where it is that you need help, and not being afraid to ask for that help. Personally, that's been something that I've struggled with over time and over life, but I learn a lot from watching what other people go through, and I don't ever want to get to a point where I feel in such despair that I think that it would be easier for me no longer to be on this planet than to deal with whatever it is that I'm going through. So I absolutely believe wholeheartedly in having that circle of friends, having that sphere of influence that can help you, and that can pour into you, and that you can go to and say, y'all, I'm struggling. I need some help. I need some guidance. And you have to do that to a degree, even when you are thinking about and looking at your purpose. You have to understand what it is that you are purposed to do on this planet. And so I'm trying to get back to my notes here. And like I was saying with what Janelle was talking about, your happiness, part of your happiness, part of that joy that you can find is in finding your purpose. That thing that causes you to get up early in the morning and stay up late at night, and that even though you may be functioning off of 2 or 3 or less hours of sleep, you still have pep in your step, you still have a smile on your face, and that is because you have found that thing, or those things that really speak to you and that give you life and that give you meaning and that give you purpose. And so when people ask me about finding my purpose, one of the things that I tell them is that International Natural Hair Meetup Day, just the natural hair community in general, has been a vehicle to drive me toward my purpose. It is part of my purpose, and it's definitely been the vehicle, but ultimately my purpose is to empower and equip people to live their lives with passion and power and purpose, whatever that is. I talk to people that want to be graphic designers or that are graphic designers. I talk to people that are authors and hairstylists and YouTube bloggers and bloggers. So I talk to all types of people that have these different passions, and in some small way, if I can say one thing to them, if I can encourage and motivate them, even if it's just saying, you can do it. Yes, that is an amazing idea. Yes, there is an audience. There's a niche out there for that for you. Sharing that with them is ultimately what I am purposed to do. A lot of the people that have come through International Natural Hair Meetup Day, whether that's through sponsorship or whether that is through hosting an event, they are going on to do amazing things. They, through INH&D, are discovering what it is that they are purposed to do, what it is that they want to do, and fine-tuning and honing in on that thing that really gives them life and purpose and power. And that's ultimately what we need. That's what we need to combat the stresses in our life. There is enough stress in our life already. A lot of us are on jobs that aren't fulfilling, and we may have relationships that aren't exactly doing what it is that we want them to do, and children that aren't exactly being what we want to be. But when you have that thing, you have that personal thing inside of you that gives you life, and that gives you joy, that gives you peace, that gives you purpose, then all of those other things become relative, and you're able to manage those a lot better, in my opinion. When I was not operating in my purpose, I was irritable, I was cranky, I was just not a pleasant person to be around, honestly. And you would think that you were like, well, you're just not a happy person. But no, part of that was because I just really didn't know what I was doing, and I wasn't doing what I was purposed to do. So I was just irritable. I felt like I wasn't happy. I was doing all of this stuff for other people, and helping them to make their dreams come true. But I'm like, what about me? And then they're off riding off into the sunset with their great successes and their dreams being accomplished, and I'm left empty. And that's what I encounter so much from so many women, is that they are just empty. They are and finding your purpose helps you to replenish yourself. It helps to refill you and to fill you up, and to really show and understand what it is that God has put you on this planet to do. Whatever your higher being is, why you are here on this planet. And each of us has at least one purpose. We have something that we are supposed to do. And Dr. Seuss says that there is no one more youer than you. So while there may be other people that can make that product or that can do a YouTube video, they still can't do it the way that you would do it. And there are people that I resonate with because of their personality, their convictions, their platform, what have you. And it's going to be the same for you. When you find your purpose, there are going to be people that resonate with you. Will it be 80, 100, 500,000 people? It may not be. But for those 1,000 people out there that you resonate with, and that they hang on your every word, or hang on your products, or hang on your blog posts, you are giving them life. And if you bless and empower and uplift through whatever your purpose is, 1,000 people, you have done what you were set on this earth to do. Even if it's 100 people, if you really pour into those people and you give them the best that you have, and you will find that you'll find fulfillment, you will find joy in that. You can't compare yourself to others, and that's a thread that I've been hearing throughout the day as well. Everyone has their individual story. Everyone has their individual pains and joys and triumphs, and your story is your story, and your story should be shared. The fact that you have overcome something, that should be shared, that should be celebrated. And that's what is so beautiful and amazing about this day. I know a lot of the people that have participated in today, and a lot of people that are coming up, and their stories are amazing, their personalities are amazing. And the fact that we are coming together to help empower others and to shine light on two issues that are so overwhelmingly prevalent, and especially in women communities in general, but especially in the African American women community. We both issues are very close to my heart. I have had family members that have passed away as a result of breast cancer, and I too have been a survivor of domestic violence. And so both of these causes are really, really germane, and really, really a focus of who I am as an individual. And when you find your purpose, and when you exercise those things and do those things, you really do. The tentacles spread into all of these communities. So while you may not necessarily be a victim or a survivor of domestic violence, you know, just your purpose and being there and doing what it is that you are supposed to do may give someone else the strength, the motivation, the inspiration to get out of that situation. And it may not take them 7 to 10 times like the lady was speaking about earlier. It may only take them one time, because you are out here doing your purpose and they see that, and they think that if she can do it, I can do it. You know, for those of us that have health related issues, when people see that you are not ashamed to wear your hair in its bald state because you've lost it due to treatment for cancer, then you give someone else the courage to do the same thing, or to know that, you know, living with breast cancer, you can live beyond it. You can have a fulfilling life. You can do amazing and adventurous things, even during and certainly after you have dealt with this particular illness. So all of this, for me, it is just a culmination of what has been an amazing day, an amazing morning of just sharing individual stories, and even down to beauty and natural hair, knowing who you are and knowing what your purpose to be, it helps you exude that confidence. And that is the most beautiful thing that any person, male, female, can ever exhibit or have, is confidence. And when you know what you are purposed to be, when you have an idea what you are purposed to do, that confidence comes out. A lot of times, I was having a conversation with a friend last night, and you know, they said that is one of the things that drew them to me, is the fact that they knew that I knew what I was purposed to be, and that was attractive, and that was something that they wanted to get to know and uncover and figure out, and to see how, you know, my knowing what I'm purposed to be can help them fulfill what they are purposed to be. And that's what it's all about. That's what community is all about. And I feel like I've been talking for a while, so Jonna, let me know what's up, what I need to do.
You're good.
Okay.
I have one question that I saw on Twitter. That's why I'm trolling while you guys are talking.
Okay.
Because I will because the questions can pop up so many different places.
Right.
The joy and pain of Google Hangouts.
Right.
The one question that I have from Maria, I don't know if she's still watching, and I'm not sure if it was for Janelle or for you, but I'm just going to put it out there because you guys are talking about similar topics, is how do you find the time for yourself to really dig and really get to say, like, what am I really passionate about? Like, do you have a day that you set aside, or do you just kind of find the time whenever? What do you do personally, and then what would you suggest for people to do for themselves?
Okay, so personally, I try to live by this model. So I try to take 1 hour a day for myself. It doesn't necessarily have to be a solid 60 minutes. If it's 15, I try to do no less than 15 minutes. So if it's 15 minutes in the morning, you know, 30 minutes at lunch, another 15 at the end of the day, try to take at least 1 hour a day for myself to meditate, to think, to plan, to strategize. Now, this is not my work. So this is not blogging. This is not making YouTube videos. This is not, you know, doing stuff for INHMD. This is just about Adeea and figuring out what's important to me. What are the things that I need to do today? So like that 15 minutes in the morning could be, these are the 3 things that I absolutely need to get done today. I know we all, to a degree, have some sort of to-do list, and sometimes I look at people's to-do lists, or you know, they say, well, these are the things that I want to accomplish today, and they're like 15 things, and I'm like, you're already setting yourself up for failure. And so then you feel like you're not accomplishing what it is that you want to accomplish. Just start with 3, And it could be, one of them could be making a phone call. Another one could be, writing a blog post. And another one could be taking a walk. It doesn't matter. But if you can get those three things done, then you'll feel a sense of accomplishment. You feel like you've gotten something done. And then, then if you want to do more, you can certainly do that. But make sure you have a minimum of like three things that you want to do, and plan that either the night before or early in the morning. I also try to take a weekend every quarter. So that's hard, especially when, or some part of a weekend every quarter. So that's hard when people, have families sometimes. But what I do, because even though I don't have a family, I literally almost have something every weekend, whether it's Friday night or Saturday or Sunday or what have you. So what I try to do, and this is actually one of my free weekends, so this, I'm getting empowered, and so this doesn't feel like work to me at all. But I look at my calendar for, the month or a month or two, and say, okay, what is a free weekend or a free day or a free Saturday that I don't have anything planned, and I literally block this out. And I don't accept any other engagements. It is my time to do what I want to do. If I choose to spend it with friends, awesome. If I choose to spend it in my room and not doing anything, then awesome. If I choose to spend it working, cool. So I try to do that at least quarterly. I used to try to do it monthly. Sometimes it's not possible to do it every month, but I feel like quarterly you should be able to find a weekend where you can just not program and plan anything. And then if you have this luxury, try to take, a few days to a week off a month and do you. Whatever that you is, maybe it's going to a conference or a retreat. Maybe it is, saying I'm taking the kids to school, daycare. Once hubby goes off to work, I'm focusing on, some things that I need to do. There's some commercial that's out there that talks about the amount of vacation time that goes unused. And I know we're always like, but what if I need it? But what if I need it? Especially if you're getting to this time of year and you have so much vacation time, and especially some employers, all of it doesn't roll over. Take it. You're going to get paid for it. Take it and use that opportunity to do something. Like if you are really contemplating entrepreneurship, take it as an experiment in becoming an entrepreneur. Sit down and what would it be like if I worked for myself, if I worked from home? Because you need to know if you have the self-discipline, the care, the motivation and the inner drive to be able to work without a boss necessarily giving you work or telling you what to do, making your own work plan and things like that. So that's what I do. For me, part of that is during my holiday vacation at the end of the year, because I have multiple weeks off at the end of the semester. So that is my time. And I figure if I can work while family is around or coming in and out of town, and there are all kinds of other holiday things happening that could distract me. If I can work and get some things done during that time, I can certainly do it during other times of the year. And when I did that last year, that was really the one thing that solidified for me that entrepreneurship is something that I can do. Now, generally, some general advice, I do think that you need to do a couple of things. One of the first things that I think you need to do is have a conversation with the people in your life that are important to you and that you are responsible for. So significant others, children, if they are of age or what have you. Again, it goes back to you have to give to yourself before you give yourself away. So one of the things that Dr. Phil says for teaching children is that, mommy or daddy went away, but then they came back. And I think sometimes we are so afraid that I'm not exactly sure what the fear is, because again, I don't have kids, but we don't want to leave our kids, or we think that they may feel neglected if we, go out for a couple of hours and do something else that's for ourselves and that fulfills our purpose. But what my mom taught me is that yes, she was doing other things, but she never missed anything as it relates to me. She was always there. But then I also came to respect times when I saw her preparing for Bible study, or when I saw her preparing for a meeting, or when I knew she had to go out of town for work. I mean, I respected those times, and it taught me that I can do the same thing. And so when you do that for your children, I think you're leaving them a legacy of a strong work ethic, and of the fact that you can make dreams come true, that you can take literally nothing and make it into something. And we want our kids to go out here and do these amazing things, but are we modeling that for them with our own lives and with our own purpose? So I think having conversations around that is important, saying from 4 to 5 every day while you're doing your homework, I'll start dinner, but I'm going to be doing things like checking email or working on a blog post or what have you. And then also I think that, setting some sort of schedule, whether it's a block schedule or whether you say Wednesday evenings, this is my time to work on this. Using your lunch hour as a way to get some things done if you don't have the luxury of having a lot of time for yourself or to do things for yourself at home. So, going to a McDonald's or Panera or somewhere with a free Wi-Fi and eating your lunch there, or, and being able to check emails and do things and write blog posts and work on your business and those sorts of things. I think that those are 3 things that I would suggest if you are looking for time to give to yourself and to pursue those things that you're passionate about.
Now, one question I want to ask, and because I hear this question a lot, is how do you decipher between something that, I'm passionate about versus something that is my purpose? Like I've heard, people say, find your purpose, find your passion, and then turn it into profit. So a lot of people want to, find whatever it is that they're passionate about or they feel like is their purpose or whatever, and then they want to turn it into a business or a way that they can make money. But a lot of times people use those terms interchangeably, purpose and passion. So how do people really narrow it down? Because let's say my mom liked to knit scarves. She really enjoys it. It's her thing that she does to relax, and she kind of has some passion about it. She'll go and she'll buy the kits and she'll buy the stuff and she'll knit everybody a scarf every year. She'll knit you a scarf or 2. But let's be, I know nobody's buying these. This is not, she's not quitting her day job, cutting off the retirement check to knit these scarves. This is not what we want her to do. So how do people kind of categorize these things? Okay, this is something you're passionate about, but maybe it's just a hobby, something you kind of do for yourself, versus, okay, this is a passion, and maybe something that I might be actually willing to quit my job to do if I could figure it out. How do people, is there a checklist, or I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but
I
is there a checklist you kind of say, okay, if you check yes, go to the next box. If you check no, kind of situation.
Right. I think the process is very individual, but at the same time, I'm going to start off my comments by saying this. I think that there are some things that we may be purposed to do that we may not be paid to do. So, and I'm just going to go off your example of your mom knitting the scarves. That may be part of her purpose, but perhaps she's supposed to knit the scarves for the elderly or for, cancer patients in the hospital. She may not be able to necessarily create an entire business and retire off of that, but that's part of her contribution. So for me, part of purpose is, what is your contribution to the world? What is your contribution to your sphere of influence? Sometimes that doesn't always translate into career career change and things like that. But there are ways for you to do that. I mean, she creates a nonprofit, and so she brings sponsors on board, and people are donating toward buying the supplies, or they're buying the scarves for their own family members that may be doing that. So there are models that you could make to do that. I think sometimes where people get a little bit disillusioned is they feel like everything that they're purposed to do, that they have to be paid to do. And I think when you look at your purpose, initially you may not get paid to do that. But if it's truly something that you're passionate about, meaning that, you do it. And I think that's how all of us have gotten started in what it is that we're doing, is we are passionate about it. I think some people were, but some people are still passionate about what it is that we're doing. So we were buying products with our own money. We were going to events on our own dime. We were doing all of these things because we wanted to be a part of the community. We wanted to give back in that way. And then some of us have realized that there is marketability, there is opportunities to get paid to do what we love, but you cannot lose the basis of that passion. And I feel like sometimes people lose that, and so they lose a little bit of focus, and they also lose a little bit of authenticity. So I think that if you are wondering if this thing that I'm purposed to do and this thing that I'm passionate about doing, is it profitable? I think that's where mentoring and coaching and having a group of people, it could be a small group of people, a mastermind group, whatever, can help you sort of work through that. Because, and that's sort of where I am now. So some of the things that I think are profitable aren't necessarily profitable. But some of the things that I don't think anybody is interested in or would pay for, people are like, yes, I'm all about that. And so having that sounding board, that group that can help counsel you, I think is something that we all need to have if we are really considering doing something purposeful that we're passionate about, and hoping that it leads to a degree of profitability. I don't see how you can build anything without some sort of sounding board. Some people call it like a board of directors. Some people pay for business coaches. I have business coaches, but I also have just friends and people like you that I can say, look, what is this really? Am I thinking this right? And you need those people in your life that can help you, push this thing forward. Because you can't do it by yourself. And some opportunities that I have been afforded and have been blessed with, you can drink on camera, it's okay. We understand, we get it.
Let me get my vodka then.
Some things that I've been purposed to do and the opportunities that I've been given is because of the connections that I have. And when people co-sign and realize that you have this passion, a lot of people are willing to push you towards it. They're willing to push you out there, push you out of the nest. So I think that first you have to identify what you feel like your purpose and your passion is. And I feel like a lot of people don't know what that is. They immediately are going to, how can I make money doing this? But until you really get a handle on what it is that you are passionate and purpose to do, you can't make money at it. So you can't really put the cart before the horse when it comes to that. You have to really understand what it is. And it's a process because, like I said, we didn't always start out making money. We didn't always have that business model, that business plan immediately when we started out. It evolved and it developed. Your platform, if you look at Jonna's platform, it has evolved since I've known her. The messages, the core message has stayed the same, but the messages have evolved and slightly changed and shifted over time as we grow and mature and evolve as individuals. That happens. And that's where other people around you affirming that, steering you in different directions can help you determine what your purpose is. does that sort of kind of answer the question?
No, that did. Now that leads me to my next question is, so let's say I I found my purpose. I'm passionate about it. I've been doing it for some time, and now I'm burnt out.
Girl.
I'm burnt out,
Woo!
or what I thought that I had found my. I really, really thought that I had found my purpose. I really thought I went all the way in. I did it, and now, maybe I'm a little bit older. And especially I think about this because I have a stepdaughter. She's 18. She's getting ready to graduate from high school, and as teenagers do, because they just don't have the life experience. And shoot, some of us grown people don't have the life experience. We don't know that much about different careers that are out there, and we're still, we don't know what is it I'm really passionate about. So through her teenage years, she's had different things that she thought she wanted to do. She wanted to be what did she want to be at first? She wanted to be a chef. She wanted to be a chef, and she was going to open her own healthy soul food restaurant. We were all for it, right? I'm all for it, because of course I'm encouraging her to, think entrepreneur wise as well. Think of something that you can have as your own.
Right.
So she wanted to do that. Then when she got started, she realized it really wasn't for her. Then she decided that she wanted to maybe do psychology. Good at it, but felt like it's not really her passion. She's not passionate about it. She's good at it, but she's not passionate about it. And she really wants to get into nursing. She really wants to be a nurse. So this happens to grown folks too. Fortunately, she still live at home, and she's got parents that are taking care of her, so she has the space to kind of let those things play out. But what do you do when you're in, and then you realize, I don't know if this is really what I want to do, or I've just been doing it for so long, I'm just worn out.
Yeah.
How do you kind of like pick back up from there?
I think we've all had those, we've come to those crossroads and have those, what I call crisis of belief moments. And burnout is natural, it is normal, it happens. I think where sometimes where it gets a little tough is we allow it to become all consuming, and we just really it just overwhelms us, and we can sort of spiral a little bit downward. So I deal with a lot of event burnout, like post-event burnout from people after International Natural Hair Meetup Day. And a lot of people are, because of, some challenges and obstacles and things like that, and, things didn't exactly go maybe as they wanted to, they become a little bit disillusioned when it comes to, is this really for me? Am I purpose to do this? And a few things that I think would be helpful is you have to allow yourself time to decompress. And a lot of times we don't do that. We are immediately on to the next thing. We don't allow ourselves to be refueled, re-energized, anything. And so we're on to the next thing immediately. And so then you just wake up one day and you're just like, forget it all. I don't want to do any of this anymore. So you have to allow yourself, some time to decompress. You have to turn off the social media, perhaps. You have to just be by yourself or get some rest and things of that nature. And so I feel like you definitely have to allow yourself time to do that. And then you have to slowly slowly immerse yourself back into, that community, that event, that culture, by thinking about the things that happen positively at the event, and looking at the positive feedback. People are always, they can always throw hate and shade and all this kind of stuff, but chances are there are people out there that were just blessed and amazed and informed and inspired by what it is that you do. So you have to focus on those people and those things, as a way to sort of build yourself back up. So I wouldn't say immediately like to look at the trolls and the haters and things like that. You got to do that to get yourself back up. And then maybe you go to another person's event, or you talk to other people that do similar things to you, just to have that sort of camaraderie, and be able to commiserate with other people that know what you have gone through and what you have been through. Now, for those of us that are still struggling with, what do I want to be when I grow up? Because to a degree, I am. If I told you the different things that I wanted to do over the course of my life, you would laugh. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be an economist. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a cosmetologist. I wanted to be like a PR professional and an event planner, and all of these things that I have wanted to be. And if I could find a way to be all of those things, trust me, I would. So there's this whole kind of new community and phenomenon out there that are multi-passionate entrepreneurs and multi-passionate people. And that resonates with me because I'm not a one-dimensional human being at all. I'm not, I have never been the person that, from almost out of the womb, I knew I was going to be this. And so that's what I did. And, had this tunnel vision focus. Like, my path has been very, very winding and very individual and very different. And I'm sure my parents have had lots of sleepless nights, and, have probably scrubbed their knees in terms of praying for me, because I was just kind of figuring things out as I went along. And to a degree, that's okay. Now, at the same time that I've been figuring things out, I realized I had bills, I had things that I had to do. So you still have to maintain your life, and you still have to do that maintenance. But you also need to allow yourself time to explore and time to create, and to see what it is that you ultimately are passionate about, what it is that you want to do. I don't know what the statistic is now, but it used to be that you'll change careers like 7 or so times over the course of your lifetime. And I think to a degree that's true, because we are always evolving as individuals. And especially with my generation and later, so I'm a Gen Xer, so Gen X, Gen Y, I don't know what these later the millennials, all of these generations after us, they are not of my parents' generation, the baby boomers, where you are, not so far removed from civil rights and Jim Crow and even slavery, where you are just looking for, that one good opportunity, that one good job, and you are willing to stay there, and, you stay there for your 30 years, and you get your certificate, your gold watch, and your pension, and you move on, and you go to the house and have a seat. It is not like that for a lot of us nowadays, because of all of the opportunities and the technology and just the way the culture in the world is right now. That's not the path that a lot of us need to take and want to take. And we need to give ourselves permission to do that. Again, I think it models for your children that you are growing, you are evolving, you're able to learn, you're able to do different things. And as you come and go and grow and learn, that you make those decisions and adjustments based on where you are at that point in time. Obviously, you have to weigh those decisions carefully when you have other people that are depending on you and other people that are involved. But I don't think that it means that you cannot pursue your dreams because of because you have responsibilities. And if that is the one thing I'd like to leave with everyone, is just, I hope that that is a freeing message, that you don't have to give up your dreams because of your responsibilities. You do have to manage your responsibilities and take care of your responsibilities, but that doesn't mean that you necessarily have to give up your dreams in order to pursue the things that you are passionate about and purpose to do on the planet. Um,
No, that's good.
yeah.
That's good. Somebody that's watching left a comment and said that you're so peaceable. You're so peaceful, and she's just enjoying listening to you talk.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, kind of to bridge off of what I was talking about before, what do because I remember growing up, you kind of had like the cookie cutter um, format. You make good grades in school. You take those good grades in school, then you go to college, you make good grades in college, you take
Right.
that degree, and then you go get a good job, and then you
Yes.
be really, really good at your job, and then hopefully they'll promote you, pay a little bit more, and then you retire, and then you just chill at the crib. But this is not, really a lot of people are realizing that while that may work for some people, for most people it doesn't work because it's not them really fulfilling a passion or a purpose that they have. It's just working a job, paying bills so that they can just be able to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's the formula I was taught. I remember saying certain things that I wanted to do. I wanted to do hair.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
and,
did too.
and so I'm here with a hair care blog because then my mom thought, okay, if you have an interest in hair, you got to be a hairstylist. But there weren't I mean, maybe there were blogs, but I don't even remember that there was like internet service.
Right.
I'm telling my age now. So, you know, back in that generation, that is what you did. You had to do what you had to do. You had to support your family. But what should people start telling their kids now, because they're growing up in this generation where there's so many different opportunities, like for example with Lamar Tyler and
Yeah.
his, am I saying it right, Tyler?
Yes.
His book about how the gatekeepers are gone because the internet is allowing for anybody to sell anything, and you don't need uh somebody, you don't need to go to, you can just put it up online and you can sell it, right? So what should be, or what do you feel like should be the new message that we're telling our kids that are in this generation? We want them to be able to take care of themselves. Don't get me wrong. I want my daughter to be able to provide a living for herself, but I also want her to be able to pursue a passion. If she wants to start her own business, like I want her to not be able to pursue that, if she choose to, because she think, well, I just got to get a job. Like, so what is the new message we can tell our kids about pursuing passions and our purpose? Because I just know growing up it was like, you do that on your own time, you need to get a job.
Exactly.
My mama was trying to, she like, you got.
Yes. Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the exact same message that I had. So my mom worked for the state for 32 years. My dad was in banking for 27 years. So I definitely grew up in a household where it was like, toe the line, get your grades, go to school, get a job. When I got the job at East Carolina University, which is a state-supported institution, my parents were like, yes, you are a state employee. You got that good government insurance. Like, ECU's not going anywhere. They were just ecstatic for me. And after about a year, I was over it. So, and, I think that the one message that I would tell parents and guardians and people that have kids that listen to them, that are influencers for kids and teenagers, is to not project your fears onto them. So, for my parents, obviously one of their greatest fears is that I won't be able to take care of myself, and I, won't have, a place to live or a car to drive and different things like that. And that's a legitimate fear and or a legitimate concern and a legitimate thing that um, has to be weighed and has to be taken into account. But also don't say, just because I may not have traditional employment like you did, or I may change jobs every 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years, that I somehow am not going to be as stable, or have the opportunities as you do, or as you have. So I think that as best we can, to not allow, our concerns, express them, voice them, but then help them find solutions to even answer our questions, our fears, our concerns. So if it's an issue of what are you going to do about health insurance, then maybe they take enough of a job where they can qualify for health insurance, or now with Obamacare, if it stays around any longer, maybe that's an option for them. And then as a parent, maybe you say, okay, I'm going to pay for your health insurance for a year. And then now with a lot of our parents, you can have your kids on their health insurance until they're about 24, 25, especially if they're enrolled in school. So you can offer that to your child as a way, okay, I want to make sure that you have this, so let me do this for you, do what you can, and then you say, but you need to do this, you need to do that, that sort of thing. When they know what those boundaries and parameters are, then they tend to be able to operate in them. They know that they have to pay their cell phone bill, then they're going to get enough of a job to pay their cell phone bill, because they are not going to want to be without that. If they know that they have to, pay their car insurance, you may help with their car payment, but they have to pay their car insurance, then they're going to do what it takes. I think a lot of times we assume that our kids don't have the wherewithal to do that, but if parents have done, somewhat of a reasonable job in equipping and different things like that, then they will have the skill sets or the desire to go out and to do at least the basics to get that done. I feel like if you have teenagers, and especially as they are approaching their junior and senior years in high school, you need to have those conversations about what next, and allow them to talk and allow them to really sort of express what that what next is. So if it is a what next of they want to go into the military, and I know, especially when we were, it's kind of tense right now, and people are not really wanting their kids to do something like that, but maybe it's an option of you go to a university or you go to school, and when you graduate as an officer, so you're not having to go through this whole going in as a private and working your way up. You're able to go in as a sergeant or a lieutenant or what have you. So being able to see what it is that your kids want to do, then being able to sort of add to that and guide that as they are thinking along those lines. I also think that if you can, and if you can afford it, if you will, maybe giving your kids a year to figure out some things, figure out what it is that they want to do. I sort of wish I would have done that, because I think it would have prevented me from, I think I went to college too early. I really, and especially because of some things that happened in my life personally at that time, I went to college too early. I really should have deferred my admission at least a semester. But because it was, the formula was you graduate from college in June and you go to college, and you graduate from high school in June, you go to college in August. So that was the formula, right? And I really should have not done that. So knowing the temperament of your child and knowing what it is that they can handle and being sensitive to that, and not just doing things because it fits into a formula, or it's because this is what your neighbor's kids are doing or what have you. I think those are all some ways that we can really equip and empower our kids and allow and to tell them your own story. So if your path has been somewhat winding, or then tell them that. Or if it's not, but then say, yeah, I've been at the same company for 20 years, but, part of me wishes that I could have explored, or I could have done another particular type of job, or I would have gone back to school so I could have better qualified for a promotion. And so sharing that and being transparent with our kids helps them, even though we may think that they're not listening, they are. I did. I still made some of my own decisions, but I did so having the knowledge that my parents were, sharing with me, and the stories and the things that I saw from them.
Yes. That's awesome. Ash, I have a comment. She says, that she thinks, I think the new message should be to pursue your passion. Start your own business. Don't create a job for yourself. Create a business. Be free to do you. That's what I tell my niece who lives with me. Believe that God will guide you as long as you are open to follow his lead.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I do think that this generation and this next stage of wealth is about information, and it's about entrepreneurship. And I think if there is, and I've never listened to what people have said about the economy, because I've always seen jobs posted. Always. It has never been like the Great Depression where there was no jobs, no opportunities. And I'm so quick to tell people, if I were ever underemployed or unemployed, the first place I would go is to McDonald's, because you rarely hear about a McDonald's closing. You can move up really quick in the organization. They have tuition reimbursement, so I can go to school and get all my education on their dime to a degree. And it's a good organization to work for, and you can move about. So it is really about creating the life that you want. I was talking to a client one time, and she was saying she lives in a really cold climate, but she was like, I like where I live, and my family is here, but I want to be in a warm climate. And I said, so why is it that you can't have two places? You can live in two places. Build a business, build a career that would allow you to live in Florida in the winter months, and then you can come back home during the spring and summer. Why can't you do that? Who says that you can't do that? Who said that? So it's about what she's saying, creating the life that you want, whether that, and for me, that kind of rings true for me. Like, I don't necessarily want to be in one place with a mortgage and things like that. I want to be able to, go to Atlanta for a month. I want to go to New York for 3 weeks. I want to go to LA, for a little while. Not saying I have residences in all those places, although I'm not knocking that or not claiming that, but I want to have that kind of freedom in mobility. That's what Adeea wants. That's what I want for my life. So yes, and that's what knowing like your purpose and your passion is, and the lifestyle that you want to create, so that you can find opportunities, find jobs, create businesses that will allow that. One of the guys I went to high school with, and I know we got to go, but one of the guys I went to high school with, he works for Marriott. And because there are Marriotts literally all over the world, he has been in North Carolina. He started in North Carolina. He's been in Chicago, D.C., New York, Miami. He's worked at Marriotts all over the places and has been able to live in all of these amazing cities by working for this particular company. And that's what he likes to do, because he's a musician. That's his passion. And so he's able to immerse himself into the music scene in Chicago, but then he's still able to pay his bills because he goes to the Marriott every day. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I want us to do. That's what I want kids to do. That's what I want everyone to do, is to figure out your life, how you want your life to be, and then find the sources of income that can be able to fund that life.
Oops. Adeea,
Yes,
thank you so much. Okay,
absolutely.
and I forgot to ask you this when we started, so I'm gonna have to ask you
Oh
now.
yeah, I got it. I'm ready.
What you got? What you got on
Yes,
under
I'm
there? What
ready.
you
Okay, so
got on?
I really do have on pajamas. I'm for real. So this is my Natural Girls Rock T-shirts that I love, and then my PJs.
Yes.
Yes, animal print. You know, I love some animal print. So yes,
And they're
these are my
cute.
PJ bottoms.
Awesome.
Yes,
Well, thank you again so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I gotta look at the
absolutely.
camera like hugs.
Hugs, mwah. And I
Now
will be
already getting
in the,
people
I will be back on the public
asking
side.
in the comments, what is your information? They're like, oh my goodness, she rocked it. How can I find her? So
Okay.
tell the people that are watching where all they can find you and get
Yes.
to you and all that good stuff.
So, okay, I'm everywhere, but your two main portals of entry for me should be Instagram and Twitter because that's where I live. So, Instagram is Trendy Socialite, TrendySocialite, and Adeea R. Rogers, Adeea R. Rogers. And I posted on Trendy Socialite that you can ask me some questions. So if there are things that you think of as you're going through, especially the rest of today, because the rest of today is sort of, I feel like mine was kind of a catalyst for some of the conversations that you're having later about building a blog, starting a business, and living a healthier lifestyle. So if you have questions, obviously the people that are coming up, because I know them all, are going to be amazing. But then if you have some questions for me, you can also leave that for me on Instagram or at me on Twitter. And it's the same for both of those, Trendy Socialite and Adeea R. Rogers. So
Well,
that's how you can find me.
everybody, please go and check Adeea out. She's
Thank
amazing, as
you.
you
Thank
saw, as
you.
you heard.
Thank you for the honor.
So definitely make sure that you check her out.
And I follow back and I
Um,
talk.
you said you follow back and you talk.
Yes. All right.
And okay, thanks for joining us.
Yes.
See you later. Keep
Yes, I'm
watching.
going back to the public side now so I can watch.
I know, right?
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.